And there was no agreement between Mr. Haas and myself in this, quote, pro se divorce. My rights have been just totally infringed upon.
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
So, Ms. Thompson, you may proceed.
Your Honor, so just briefly, I'll give an opening. So we were here before you a few months ago on a motion to compel to sell what was the marital residence. And we set some amounts and we set a stair step, and the house still has not sold. And Mr. Haas is still being 100% responsible for all of the bills, utilities, and maintenance in the house. And at this point, there is an offer on the house from, I believe, an investor, and that amount is a little bit lower than what we set when we were here last time. So we're asking the court for permission to drop the price of the house so that the house can go ahead and sell. If you recall, the last time we were here, we've already talked about the stall tactics and the techniques that have been used so that Mrs. Haas can continue to live for free. And so we're asking the court to put a stop to that.
Okay. All right. So do you want to call a witness, Ms. Thompson?
Just Ms. Belusic.
Yes.
Okay. You may proceed.
Ms. Belusic, and I'll just be really quick. You are listed as the realtor of this property, correct?
Correct.
And how long have you had the property listed approximately?
87 days.
Okay, and for the original order that was presented to the court, you followed the prior order with the step down amount?
Correct.
And is there a current offer on the house?
Yes, there is, for $480,000 cash.
Okay, and do you believe at this time that that's a reasonable offer on the home?
I do.
Let me make this abundantly clear. The husband is still on the hook for 100% of the costs of the house while the ex-wife gets to live for free. Keep that in mind when we see her have a breakdown because she thinks she's not only entitled to a free house, but alimony as well, since she would rather leech off of her ex-husband than get a job.
In this whole divorce situation, there's been a lot of things going on that have happened that are in shady, for what I say. The last time before I appeared before court, I had gone in to get some information to properties that have been sold in the area.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to narrative and to relevance. Number one, this issue's already been litigated and none of the testimony being presented is what we're before the court for today.
It is very important. Can I continue?
Well, there are objections sustained, so you can continue. It's going to depend on what you're going to say.
Okay. Well, let's get right down to the issues at hand. The property in question that is being sold or trying to be sold to an investor, okay, my name has been removed from the title, the record of title in Austin County. Someone has not.
I'm going to object to relevant.
Yeah, the documents are missing. The documents are not there. Why?
What document are you talking about?
Right now, my husband is shown to be the only person on the deed. I sent a document to the court showing the loan papers that I am to be on the deed.
So have you looked in the clerk's office for the deed to the property?
Bruce Haas is here. He has the document and he could testify to the fact that it was sent to him with his name only.
Do you have a copy of the deed where you and your husband obtained the property?
I do not at the moment. I am broke. I have no income. I have no alimony because Mr. Haas didn't want to pay alimony. So when we went to mediation,
to relevance,
we're going to go off the record. There's no way we can do this on the record. So instructing the court reporter to stop. So, okay, so you don't have a deed. Why do you say your name is not on the title?
I went into the assessor's office to get information. We have a cash sale for the house behind us that went for $500,000+. That was not on record. I could not get access to anything because I was told that I do not have, my name is not on the deed.
Okay, if you came to the tax assessor's office, why didn't you come to the courthouse and look for the deed?
I did go in.
Okay.
I did go in.
Okay,
And I do have the original paperwork that I gave the court a copy of it. That shows not, which I know at this point, you know, we don't have to get, I just want you to know that fact. Also.
Okay, well, I don't know any facts yet. And I'm still asking the question. So you came to the courthouse, you looked at the deed, and you're saying your name is not.
I did not get, they told me I could have access to the room. I did not have time, or stress is not good for me. Stress, I have been in and out of the emergency room prior to this divorce, and I am not to get stressed.
We don't care.
Behaving like an adult is also stressful for her, as we are about to see with her meltdown. But before that, she keeps claiming her name was removed from the deed and loan, yet she has no proof to back up that claim. She also doesn't even make any financial contributions to the house, which makes me think her name was never on any of those documents.
Because I will end up back in the emergency room. So these court settings are very upsetting.
It would be too stressful to come to the courthouse and look at a deed?
At the time I was at the courthouse, I decided that I would go to the title company to find out what happened. So I went to Bott's Title in Sealy and had them pull all of the documents to our mortgage. Somewhere along the way, the official loan paperwork has been changed.
Your Honor,
whether it's from Chase.
I said we're not on the record, so you don't need to object to anything. But what does a loan have to do with title to the property?
Okay, I don't know if Mr. Haas has done some finagling behind the scenes.
Okay, but just wait a minute. What does the loan have to do with title to the property?
I am being forced to sell this house for nothing. I am being forced into poverty intentionally. Why? I can't prove anything at the moment. I have no income. I have no rights to even get an attorney. And Mr. Haas knows that. And in this mediation, this whole bit that I had to go to, I was told that, you know, there's a clause there that says that I was supposed to have an attorney present. I was told that I could not because you ordered it. It was judge ordered. I didn't need to have an attorney. Therefore, I was kept for 12 hours. And right after, and I could even show you, not that you care, two emergency room ordeals prior to going to court, and then ordered to talk to Jasmine in the back of the room. And I was treated like I had no rights. I could not speak. I was ordered to go to mediation. And there was no agreement between Mr. Haas and myself in this, quote, pro se divorce. My rights have been just totally infringed upon. I went, okay, I had no money. Mr. Haas would not give me money for a lawyer. I went down to the bakery where the lawyer for people that don't have any money and representation are supposed to go. So I went there. And what did the guy say? His first comment was, is there any property involved? And I said, yes, 2 pieces of property. What was I told? Get an attorney. And I told him, I said, well, I would if I had money, but I don't have a job. I don't have a job. My husband does. But yeah, no, there was no money for an attorney for me. So I went to another attorney in Belleville. What do they say? $4,400 up front, but oh, you'll get the money back. Okay, well, I don't have it. I don't have it. And my life is more important than fighting Mr. Haas for this property. But in the duration of this whole situation, degrading situation as it is, to have to come before you, not knowing the law, but having to represent myself, and at the same time, know that there is all kinds of things going on behind the scenes. Prior to this divorce, we had a house in Colorado that was sold. There was $35,000 in addition to the money that went to my son for him to take over the loan. Where did the $35,000 go, I ask? Huh? Well, I was never told. Mr. Haas says, well, it went back into whatever. Okay, fine. Then I was led into the situation that, yeah, okay. Yeah, we're supposed to buy a place in Utah to go live. Right, Mr. Haas? We arrived there. I'm not allowed to go in. Why? Because he signs for the loan all by himself. I also sent
What do you say the house should be sold for? The current residence, the marital residence.
Personally, I don't have a house to live in, and he just bought a $600,000 house.
Okay.
I find that a problem. Where did he get the money? It's not listed.
You are not entitled to any of his money, and you are not entitled to the house you are currently freeloading in. It does not matter if he just bought a new house. He is not obligated to take care of a grown adult just because they would rather live for free in a house that isn't theirs than get a job.
He says
The question today is, what price should the house be sold at? We went from 560 to 545 to 530 without any offers, and now there's an offer for 480,000.
Yeah, and it's funny. Yeah, there were some people that came to the house, and I couldn't even find out who they were in my house. They were looking for documents. I know they were. I can't prove it. But you can ask Miss Belusic, because I called her. I recognized a truck that had driven up to my house asking about a truck that my husband supposedly owned, but my daughter owned it. So I don't know. Maybe you can add some information to this, Bruce.
Okay, what is the price that you think the house should be listed at now?
Well, given that he won't do any repairs and he won't do the landscaping to the house is not worth much in this market. I have tried to come to an agreement with him to change the percentages on the sale of the house, but he won't budge. I personally think that the percentages for the sale, I want out. I want to be completely rid of my ex and his control and his harassment. It's been nothing but harassment in this court. And I had asked you before I signed the divorce, would I have to play this game that he has before me if I sign this? How many times will I be in the court? And you said, well, if he has a legal situation. So here I am, harassed by Mr. Haas.
You live in his house for free that you own no rights to, yet you're the one that feels harassed. Playing victim is not going to fool anybody into thinking what you're doing is okay.
So
Okay,
I
so
would
we had
like
okay,
to
wait,
get
just wait a
this sold.
second. So back in December last year, so about 11 months ago or so, there was a divorce decree signed, and we had procedures in here to sell the house. The house is not sold yet, and that's the issue today. So what
But
are you saying the value of the house is that it can be sold at?
Well, the mediated settlement and the agreement at that time was that the house would be listed for 700 and something thousand, with the fact that Mr. Haas and Jasmine picked out that that price because they insisted it could be sold for that. So everything within the agreement of the mediation was based on the sale of the house being at 700 and something thousand. So what I would have earned out of the Utah property percentage was put to the house here. So of course, as the price of the house goes down and down and down and down, because Mr. Haas will not do anything to the house to improve the value of the house, I'm being forced to keep to those percentages that are not fair. So I asked you, in fairness, that the house, I can deal with the house being sold. I can go with it. It was, they came to a price. I had nothing to do with this price. It was worked out behind with Mr. Haas and whoever. But I can sell this house to the investor, but I think the percentages of what is coming from that should be increased on my part.
If this was actually fair, you wouldn't be getting any amount from the sale of the house, since he's the one who paid for it. But since our laws are a joke, you still managed to get a small percentage out of the sale of something you don't own and didn't pay for. If this
I
was
have no
actually
job.
fair,
I have been
you
sick.
wouldn't be
The
getting
divorce
any
was
amount from
done
the
back
sale
in
of the
December.
house, since he's
So
the one who paid for it.
The
But
time to
since
change
our
any of
laws
those
are a
numbers
joke,
is long
you still
past.
managed to get a
So
small
if you're
percentage out of the
agreeing
sale
to
of
sell the
something
house
you
for
don't own
480,
and
then
didn't pay for.
you can
Yeah,
sell
I
the
know.
house-
I
sell
know.
the house for
If I get
480.
money for a civil case, I can take it to civil case, but I don't
Okay.
want to.
Okay, so Ms. Thompson, what's it gonna take to get the house sold at 480?
Can I defer to Ms. Belusic on that?
All right,
Yes, I mean, parties just getting the contract signed by the sellers and presenting it and getting it done. It's a cash deal, so it will go very quickly. My concern is her having time to get out of the house.
Plus, I have no money to move, so that will have to come somewhere up front, or I'll have to have time after the closing.
Your Honor, if I can just add, Mr. Haas has been footing all of the bills for 2 years in the residence. And we've known for at least a year now that we were going to sell the residence.
I like how everyone decided to ignore her statements, but not interrupt her in the middle of them, so we can see just how childish and entitled she is.
When do I have to have my belongings out of here?
well, I guess the first thing is you just sign the contract, and is there a closing date as part of the contract, Ms. Belusi?
Originally on the contract that was sent to us, it was October 6th, but they didn't expect that it was going to take this long. So I can get that extended.
Right. All right. So I guess if you get with the other agent and come up with some other closing date, mid-October, something like that.
Okay.
I have a question.
Okay.
Will I get a legal paperwork with the right signatures on it?
And what-
Official from the court?
Okay, what document are you showing me?
Well, I have this one for the divorce. And you have a copy of it I sent to you. Signed by Sue as well as Marcy Grimes, is that deputy?
Okay, so they're from the district clerk's office.
Okay, and then from the last court date, that Jasmine never sent any information or any signed documents, I get this one. Somebody forged Miss Murphy's signature, and there is
Hold
no
it,
deputy.
Hold it still up to the camera so I can see. And why do you think that's forged? Put it up on the her signature up by the camera.
Right here.
Okay, then the other one. Okay, you have lift it up just a little bit. Okay, so again, why do you think that's forged?
Look at the difference?
Well, the first one is signed by Miss Gaines.
No, Sue Murphy is signed above it.
No, Miss Gaines signed that. Miss Grimes signed that. And then she
Right.
signed her name below it. She's a deputy clerk. So she signed the letter. She signed Miss Murphy's name and she signed her name below it to show that that was her signature. On the second letter, Miss Murphy signed it. That's why it's only her signature.
I have other documents that yeah, okay. Anyways. I don't have money for court and I don't have money to pursue who's doing what and proving what's going on behind the scenes. Unless I want a full-time career at some illegal activity going on.
All right. So could you be at Miss Blusick's office tomorrow at noon to sign the contract?
If you enjoyed this video, I promise you'll enjoy this next video. I will see you there.